Hello everyone. Welcome to this tutorial video on exploring the possibility to debug the C code of your C script block in Simba. This feature can help you to debug the C code, compile the code in debug mode, check and edit the C code line by line, modify some parameters and observe the modification done on the simulation, place breakpoints at the desired location in order to stop the program. Let's show this from a schematic C_debug, allowing to control the PWM signals of one DC-DC-SR buck converter. The C code external file block loads a file named controller.c, which includes all the necessary C code for the control stage by calculating the duty cycle value. Firstly, you'll need to install 1. Visual Studio Software, C, C++ extension for VS Code 3, MinGWW64 via MSYS2 package, which provides up-to-date native builds of GCC, MinGWW64, and other helpful C++ tools and libraries. More information could be found on Simba website in the section Documentation, then click on C Code tab and Debug, and also on the Visual Studio Code website. Secondly, you need to make sure that the same circuit works without any issue if you run the C code directly by using the C code block rather than C code external file. 1. In that case, let's run the circuit DC-DC-SR buck converter C code without changing any parameters settings of the solver. 2. We can observe the output voltage, VO, which is equal to 5 volts in steady state. Thirdly, the next step is to edit the C code block and paste all the C code into a C file named controller.c. 1. Let's create a new file name controller.c inside a folder name debug_C_code. 2. Edit the C code from the Simba circuit and select all the content, then copy it and paste the code into the controller.c file opened into Visual Studio. 3. Remove the C code block, replace it by the C code external file. Adjust the number of inputs, outputs, set the source path of the controller.c file and connect this block to the circuit. 4. Let's save the circuit such as C_debug Simba inside the same folder debug_C_code. 5. Run the circuit and observe the results, which are identical as before. The output voltage is still equal to 5 volts in steady state. Finally, open Visual Studio and follow the below steps. 1. Open the folder debug_C_code, and you'll observe into the Explorer section all the files contained into this folder. This confirms that you are working into this current folder. 2. Let's create now a launch.json file which will launch the GDB debugger and Simba if you press F5 to debug the program. You will have to click into the Run and Debug section and click on Create a new launch.json file. Choose C++ as you have installed previously C extension for Visual Studio. If C++ is not found, choose the first item, Node.js, and the launch.json file will be created automatically. Delete the contents shown and use the one that you can find on Simba website, then go on C code and select Debug section. You'll need to modify the path for both program and MIDebugger path lines accordingly to your computer. You can also change the line name GDB launch Simba and save the file. 3. Now you can place any breakpoints inside the controller.c file. Let's place one breakpoint at line 30. So the process will start to run and debug the code and will stop at this line 30 every loop. 4. Then you'll see appear a button, GDB, Launch Simba. Let's click on this button and after few seconds a new instance of Simba will be opened automatically. 5. Let's open the C_debug Simba file, and just after running it you'll observe that Simba is now slower because you are in debug session. As a result, Simba is in a frozen mode and Visual Studio is ready to debug and will be opened automatically. You cannot go back inside the Simba circuit until you stop the debug session. 6. Now you are in debug session. You can observe the breakpoints set at line 30 and all the variables on the left side are calculated and updated during the debug session. You can still set any other breakpoints, or you can also click on Continue button or Step Over, and you'll see all the variables modified accordingly to the simulation time. You can modify any parameters defined and check or edit the code. 7. Let's click into Stop button and then Simba will be closed automatically. The debug session is now over. 8. If you want to restart the debug session, you'll need to click into GDB, Launch Simba button and repeat the process mentioned previously. Also, don't forget to delete the 2.dll files in O file created before to launch the debug session. This concludes this tutorial video about how to debug the C code of your C script block by using Simba, Visual Studio and MinGW tools.